Wagwan guys, my name is Jaquan. If you are a brand new subscriber, welcome to my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for your loyalty. Alright, so as you can see by the title, it was definitely an interesting situation. So I went home to Ottawa for the break in December, and then I was coming back to Toronto because school's starting. So I booked a later train so I could finish unfinished business and whatever. I get my business done. I Uber to the train station. Train was supposed to leave at 6:20, 6:26, I believe it was. Yeah, 6:26. I'm pretty sure we left on time. And about like 20 minutes after we're in the train, I noticed that the train stops. And we're stopped for a while. Now, I didn't understand what was really, like, I didn't take it as anything because trains stop all the time. Sometimes they just stop, but I just took it as, why are we stopped in the middle of nowhere though? Like, we're legit in the middle of, like, not anywhere decent. There's no train station, no nothing. Plus, we also just left the train station, so why are we stopping so quickly? So then I hear somebody come on the PA system, probably about half an hour after, because we've been stopped for a while, and they're like, we've had a fatality. We've had a fatal accident. And I'm like, so I look at myself and I'm like, huh? Because I'm like, I didn't feel anything. Like, we haven't crashed. And I'm good. So I was like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, what's going on? So that's where everybody's mind started to go, and everybody's mind started to, and then we look out the window and there's somebody's body under the track, under our car. So the train had hit a pedestrian, is what they said. On the train, they said it was a forceful, like, believe it was like a forceful accident or something like that. So we were all like, okay, so this guy had jumped. So now all the news things have come out, and it's saying that a pedestrian was struck. So it's kind of confusing to, did this person commit suicide, or did this person jump in front of the train? Did the person not see the train coming? The part that's hard to understand is it's a dark area, and it's hard for you to kind of be in this area because I think it was like gas tanks are right beside it, or were near the track. So I was confused to, like, why here? Like, it would be a very hard spot for a pedestrian to be hit. So and there was just one pedestrian too. So when they said a forceful accident, it kind of made more sense than now when they're saying online that a pedestrian was hit. Because how are you being hit in the middle of nowhere? The area's fenced off and everything because it's train tracks. And plus, the light and the beam that comes from the train is very bright, so I thought you would be able to see that from a mile away. I'm sitting on the right side of the train, and the person's body, the man's body, is on the left side of the train. I was probably about 4 seats down on the right side from where the man's body was. And the police come onto the car, and they're like, if you would like to move, you can move. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't have a strong stomach, please don't look out the window. Keep in mind, Ottawa has snow on the ground. So when there's a fatality, you can see it very easily because you have blood all over the ground. So we look out the window, and there's an ambulance, and there's the fire service is there, and the police are there, and they have that, I'm pretty sure it's called I forgot what it's called now, but the monitor that, like, keeps your heartbeat, so it tells you if you're alive, if you're good. So we're there, and we're looking out the window. I'm looking out the window. Of course, I did not take pictures because people were taking pictures, and I was like, I'm not gonna take pictures. Like, that's invasion of someone's privacy. Even if they're dying, like, that's just not fair. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna take any pictures. I'm just gonna look. So I look, and from where I was looking, I couldn't like, you can't 100% see the body, nor that I wanted to look deeper into the window to see the body either. So when you look over the window, you see the machine that is connected to his body, and you can see it go, you know, like steady heartbeat, and then you just see it go and they're doing compressions on his body, and then you see it come back. They had to do compressions 2 times body or something. It's like everybody's crying. It felt like just like a movie. I definitely didn't think that I would experience something like that, and I never thought that that's like the movies were real. Like, it was crazy. Like, just picture it in your head. And then Villarreal had to come and cover the windows after, for the investigation. The investigation took 3 hours and 20 minutes. Keep in mind, from Ottawa to Toronto can take 4 hours. Usually the train drives fast, so it knocks it down to about 3 hours and about 40 minutes. So we're on the train for 3 hours and 20 minutes for an investigation. I don't know if they cleaned it up, but they had to cut open the fence and take his body from under the train. When they took his body from under the train, they announced to us that he was alive. So we're like, okay, thank God. Like, at least they announced it as a fatality, but it's no longer a fatality. The man has left. Even though, like, somebody looked and they told me that his body's legit in half, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. I can't believe that's unbelievable. It was definitely just hearing that, bro. Like, I didn't even want to look out the window. Like I didn't want to see that. Like, I looked out the window, but I didn't want to look deep into the window, like press my head against the window to see the body, because that's just too much. I don't want no traumatic experience. So they told us that we had to wait after the investigation to get 2 new train drivers, and then we also had to wait to get they set a coroner. So we had to wait for all of those people to come. So it took about 3 hours, a little over 3 hours, and then we had to go to Toronto. So it took about 4 hours to get to Toronto. A few people got off the train because they couldn't handle such an experience. There was only 156 people on the train. So it was nice to spread out after, not gonna lie. Villarreal did send us an email after, saying that we apologize for the inconvenience and and explaining the whole situation, but it still was never really clarified, like, you know, what really happened there. But I guess the investigation is still continuing. But when we're on the train, we were on there for the longest time, because when this investigation ended, we were already supposed to have been in Toronto. So if we haven't even, or we're just left Ottawa Central Station, and you're 20 minutes in to not even 20 minutes at the next station, you're only 20 minutes away from the Central Station, you know, we definitely did not cut it deep whatsoever. So it took about 4 hours to get to Toronto. We didn't get to Toronto till like 2:30 in the morning, 2:26, 2:16, something like that. So I was sitting on that train for 8 hours. That's a long period of time to be sitting on that train. You definitely had that in the thought of your mind, where like every single like the train would start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. You're like, oh my God, like what is going on now? Like, what is it? Like, every worst thing is coming to your mind every single time. A lot of us were just like, oh my gosh, can't look out those windows, just because like his blood is probably there. Like, we were just in a situation where we were there when somebody passed away. So it was definitely weird. It was a different experience. Or that the female that was sitting legit on top of his body, like, he's underneath the track. I couldn't be that female that was sitting right there. Like, she stayed on the train, but she had to move, and she was crying and stuff like that. A lot of people were crying. So shout out to Villarreal people. You gotta give them, and even like subway drivers, everything, you gotta give them props, because that can have a real, like, you could wake up and you don't know if somebody's gonna jump in front of your train, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, because trains bulleting like this and there's nothing you can do. So yeah, that was an interesting experience. That was just my experience. That's what happened. That's what Guan. I've been very tired, because I touched Toronto like 2:30, as I said, and then by the time I Ubered, packed out my groceries that I had bought, and then got back, I didn't go to bed till like probably around 5-ish, yeah, 5:30, and then I also had work the next day. So it was difficult, so I'm still tired and stuff like that, and then you gotta go back to school, and it's 8 a.m.s, 9 a.m.s, all those type of things. So I hope to have this video out for you by Tuesday. This accident took place on Saturday night, in the night. Yeah, as you could tell clearly. But yeah, that's what go on. Thank you for watching. That's what's going in. I tried not to make 20 jokes just because it was a serious type of situation. That's what happened. Like, somebody passed away. Like, that's really tough. I will post a link to the story in the description box if you want to go ahead and read up on it yourself. It doesn't really say too much. It pretty much just covers everything I said. Like, I was there. Thanks for watching. Enjoy. I hope to be back later. I have videos that just need to be posted. And that live video that I made, I lost the footage, so I won't post this
I saw you bad.
When me a bend over, me a